The morning began in peace. Mist lay low across the valley, curling over the river like a sleeping spirit. The river clan moved quietly through the grass, gathering fruit and tending fires. The smell of cooked fish hung in the air. Aru knelt near the water, mending a broken spear. His fingers worked with slow patience, shaping the stone tip against another rock. Beside him, Lina washed woven nets in the shallows, her reflection shimmering beside his. Their world seemed safe again. But peace, like fire, is fragile. It was Tura, the young hunter, who saw them first, dark shapes moving along the ridge to the north. He frowned, squinting through the morning haze. Not animals. Not shadows. Men. He called out sharply, and the camp froze. Aru rose, spear in hand. He followed Tura's gaze. There, figures descending the slope, tall, lean, their bodies painted in red and white clay. They carried spears and axes of stone, and their faces were hard with hunger and suspicion. Garo, the elder, limped forward, his eyes narrowing. He lifted a hand in peace, palm outward. The strangers did not stop. When they reached the river's edge, their leader stepped ahead, a broad-shouldered man with a scar across his chest. His eyes were cold as flint. He looked at the river clan's camp, its fire pits, its food stores, its women and children, and then at Aru. Two worlds met in silence. The rival leader struck his chest once, hard, and pointed to the valley, then to himself. His meaning was clear: this place is ours. Garo shook his head. He pointed to the earth, then to the river, and spread his arms wide. This land belongs to all. The stranger's jaw tightened. He raised his spear. Tension rippled through both tribes like wind before a storm. Lina stood behind Aru, clutching the net in her hands. Her heart pounded, her breath sharp and quick. She could feel Aru's muscles tense beside her, his body poised to spring if needed. No one moved. The air was thick with fear. Then, from the rival tribe, a young warrior, barely grown, reckless with pride, stepped forward and shouted. His voice was harsh, guttural. He threw a stone toward the river clan. It struck the ground near Aru's feet. The silence shattered. Tura roared and raised his spear. Aru caught his arm, shaking his head. But it was too late. Another stone flew. Then another. In moments, the valley erupted into chaos. The first true human battle had begun. Shouts and cries filled the air, raw and animal. Spears flew, stones cracked against bone. The river churned red as men fought and fell. Aru found himself face to face with the scarred leader. Their weapons clashed with a sharp, echoing sound, stone against bone. The force of each strike sent pain shooting through Aru's arms. He ducked a blow, rolled, and struck back. His spear scraped across the man's shoulder, drawing blood. The rival staggered, snarling. Nearby, Lina grabbed a burning branch from the fire and waved it, shouting, a cry that froze even the fighters for a heartbeat. The flame hissed and spat, fierce against the wind. She swung it toward the invaders, forcing them back. Fire, the very thing that had once frightened them, now became their defense. The rival tribe faltered. Some retreated toward the ridge. Others grabbed what food they could carry. The scarred leader spat blood, glared at Aru, and growled a final warning before disappearing into the trees. The valley fell silent again, broken only by the river's low murmur and the moans of the wounded. When it was over, the river clan gathered their dead. 3 hunters had fallen. Garo knelt beside them, his weathered hands trembling as he pressed stones over their hearts. A ritual older than words, older than grief itself. Aru stood nearby, breathing hard. His body ached, his knuckles bled, but his mind was elsewhere. He looked at Lina. She was sitting on a rock, the firebrand still smoldering beside her. Her hair clung wetly to her face, streaked with ash. But her eyes, those same eyes that once reflected peace, were burning now with something fierce, something new. He knelt before her. For a long moment neither spoke. Then, with slow care, Lina reached out and touched his cheek. Her fingers traced the cut along his jaw. He caught her hand and pressed it against his heart. Their breaths mingled, shaky, alive. In that touch was the birth of another human truth. From violence comes not only death, but the desperate need for tenderness. That night, the tribe sat close to the fire, wary and silent. Sparks drifted upward, vanishing into the dark. Garo spoke with gestures, his movements slow but strong. He pointed to the north, the direction of the rival tribe, then to the ground beneath their feet, then to the sky. His message was clear: the world is wide, but danger lives within it. Aru listened, his thoughts heavy. He looked around at his people, tired, wounded, yet still breathing. Survival had once meant food, shelter, fire. Now, it meant something more: unity. He looked at Lina, sitting across from him, her face lit by the flames. She met his eyes and nodded, as if she understood his unspoken resolve. They would protect this valley. They would protect each other. Later, when the others slept, Aru climbed to the top of the ridge. The moon hung full above the scarred earth, silvering the stones and grass. From here, he could see the faint glow of distant fires, the rival tribe's camp. He knew this would not be the last time humans fought one another. Hunger, fear, envy, all burned in the same fire that once gave them warmth. Lina joined him quietly, wrapping a fur around his shoulders. Together, they watched the horizon. Below them, the river whispered its eternal song, as if to remind them that time would wash away all battles. But for now, in the fragile silence after war, they stood hand in hand, two hearts learning what it meant to love in a world just beginning to understand hate.